Thank you for being here. Our special guest speaker is Diane Benson. Our special guest speaker is Diane Benson. She's an Iraqi war veteran mother, and I'd like to introduce Diane Benson. You have the floor, Diane.
To me, there's no greater honor than getting to spend time honoring those who have served. My name is Diane Benson, and I am a mother of an Iraq War veteran, but I am also an Alaskan who comes from a family that has served for generations. Actually, my family since contact, and probably before that, at least defending the homelands. My uncle did 2.5 tours in Vietnam, and living in the household when he returned, I would sit outside his door and wait for him to come out. And my grandmother would tell me to leave him alone. But I watched him go through that ordeal of post-traumatic stress. And I learned a lot from it. And one day when he finally came out of the room and he brought a jacket from Vietnam and gave it to me, and I still have it. That's getting to be kind of an old jacket now. But growing up in that atmosphere taught me a lot. But it also taught me to raise my son to be an independent-minded young man. And he is. And after 9/11, he decided to join. And he said, "Mom, you can't talk me out of it because I can't allow somebody else to step up and do the job." Well, there's no way to argue with that. And the best thing was to support him in his decisions. In my case, and in our case, as you well know, my son did lose both of his legs to an IED in Iraq, as well as other injuries, was not expected to survive, but he did. And I just feel like with so many, courage endures even beyond service, that courage endures well into our lives and into survival. I think honoring those who have served is about honoring those who stand up for this country in all the different ways that we do. I, in my life and in past years here, have served with on veterans committees, and being sometimes the only civilian to do so, and it's such an honor to be able to do that. And part of that is because I just have such a passion for veterans and for their families. Having spent all those months at Walter Reed Army Medical gave me a lot of insight into what families go through and what the wounded and the disabled want to see in support of their families, because that's sometimes one of their biggest worries. And so I've had the honor of being able to testify on behalf of veterans on certain legislation or speaking to different groups and making my rounds to VA and to the hospitals and to the communities about some of the issues around health. I feel lucky. And that's an odd thing to say when you're a mom of a soldier. Well, my guy came home, at least. And I feel lucky because I get to know what it's like to have so many friends in a community, in the veteran community. And I feel like after I left Walter Reed Army Medical, I really did feel like a fish out of water. And you know where it felt safe again? Here. Where I felt like I was with family again? Here, with veterans. Because the world just didn't look the same. And I think that's what happens for a lot of us. The world just doesn't look the same after you return. And so here we are together, like a big family. And sharing and holding each other up. Families, our soldiers, our Marines, our airmen, all of them, holding them up. And that in the practice of holding them up by honor, by ceremony, we also hold ourselves in this country up. In my language, the word for thank you is gunaf chish. And I say gunaf chish to all of you. Gunaf chish for all who have served. When my son came home, we had, the first time after he came back from Iraq, we had an honoring ceremony at the Heritage Center for all who returned. A returning warrior welcome. And on that day, he received his official Tlingit name. And that day it was Shaw Plain, Big Mountain. And I was thinking about that as I was driving out here, looking at the mountains, and thinking that's really appropriate for all of you and for all the families. It's my passion. It's what brought me to decide to stand up myself and run in a tough race. But I just think that's what it takes, that the rank and file just stand up and do what's right. So I say, gunaf chish to you and to all the family members. And this is such an honor that this day we get to do this great thing in acknowledgement of your service. Thank you so much. Thank you.